Welcome back to the Vile Echo. Tonight we step into the cold, unforgiving heart of Canada where silence hides stories that refuse to die. As the morning fog creeps across endless pine forests, something feels wrong, as if the wilderness itself is holding its breath. In these remote lands where the sun rises slowly and the mist moves like a living thing, countless mysteries were born, mysteries that never found answers. Our journey begins deep in the forest where an abandoned cabin sits half swallowed by snow. Its windows are cracked, its door barely hanging on its hinges. Locals say no one lived here for decades, but they also swear they still see a lantern glowing from inside on stormy nights. No footprints lead in or out. No path shows how anyone could have come. Just an unexplainable light flickering like a warning. Far from the cabin, on a lonely stretch of a Canadian highway, sits a single car, engine running, headlights cutting through thick fog. The driver's door is open. The keys are still in the ignition, but the driver is gone. An RCMP officer once said cases like this feel like chasing shadows. The tracks always lead into the trees, but they never come out. And that highway? It's lined with old wooden boards covered in faded missing person posters. Smiling faces, now ghostly reminders of the people who walked into Canadian wilderness and never walked back out. Some posters are recent. Others have hung so long their ink has become one with the wood. But the forest keeps pulling us deeper. Fog thickens, the cold grows sharper, and on the frozen surface of a lake lies a single hole in the ice, clean, perfect, carved as if someone slipped beneath without struggle. Beside it, a coat, boots, and gloves neatly folded. No tracks, no signs of panic, just silence and the eerie sense that someone is still down there. A drone shot over the wilderness shows how impossible this land is to understand. Endless white tundra, mountains like teeth, forests so dense daylight barely touches the ground, a place where a single wrong step could erase you from existence. As the sun sinks, a silhouette appears at the tree line, unmoving, just watching. Whether human or something else, no one can say, but many who have reported seeing figures like this share the same detail: it disappears the moment you look away. Railway tracks lead us toward darkness, entering a tunnel swallowed by overgrown vines. Locals warn never to walk through it after dusk. Some claim they hear whispers echoing from deep inside, voices repeating names of the long missing. At the edge of Yukon Territory, a lonely log house glows with the faint light of an old lantern. Snowstorm winds howl against the walls, but the flame inside doesn't flicker. Some travelers swear a figure stands in the window, waiting. These echoes, these shadows, are the mysteries Canada never solved. And they're only the beginning. The deeper we go into Canada's frozen wilderness, the more the truth begins to blur. We follow the trail of those who vanished without a trace, footsteps swallowed by the snow, cases sealed only by silence. It begins with an old police case file, its edges worn and yellowed with age. The words "Unsolved Case" are stamped in bold red across the cover. Inside are grainy black and white photographs, handwritten notes, and small clues that never added up. A single fingerprint, an abandoned campsite, a torn piece of fabric. Everything feels out of place, like a puzzle missing its most important piece. These files are more than evidence, they are ghosts of the people who left them behind. Now picture a foggy mountain road deep in the Canadian Rockies. The sky is a cold steel blue and a heavy mist wraps around the cliffs. No cars, no humanity, just the distant howl of wind flowing through the peaks. Many travelers reported seeing strange lights floating along this road, lights with no source, drifting like they were searching for someone. Those who followed them were never seen again. In the dead stillness of night, the sky above northern Canada glows with the shimmering colors of the aurora borealis. Its beauty is breathtaking, hypnotic. A lone figure stands beneath the glowing curtain of light, staring upward as if called by something unseen. Some witnesses claim people vanished right beneath the auroras, as if the sky itself swallowed them. We move next to the quiet edges of a coastal fishing village. The sea is unnaturally still, the boats tied to the docks rocking gently as if moved by invisible hands. At night, the village lights flicker without warning. Locals whisper about an abandoned boat that washed ashore, its nets torn and its deck covered in deep scratches as if something had climbed aboard. The fisherman who owned the boat was never found. Not far from there lies a lonely campsite in the forest. The sun sets in a blood-red glow, casting long shadows across overturned chairs and scattered gear. It's as though someone fled in a rush, but fled from what? No claw marks, no animal trail, no sign of struggle, just a suffocating sense that something watched them from the woods, waiting. A forest trail leads us deeper into danger, swallowed by thick, rolling mist. The trees twist above us, branches stretching like skeletal fingers. The air feels heavy, too silent, too controlled, as if the forest does not want us here. Many hikers reported feeling like they were being followed. Some saw shadows that moved against the wind, shadows that disappeared the moment they were confronted. Then comes the aerial shot of a remote island off Nova Scotia. Dark clouds hover above and the waves crash violently against the rocks. On this island, people have vanished without leaving even a footprint behind. No boats, no debris, no bodies, just an island that seems to watch you back. Nearby stands an old lighthouse battered by storms. Its light no longer works, but some nights locals say they see it glowing faintly just for a moment before fading into darkness once again. Those who attempt to investigate don't stay long. Their radios malfunction, their batteries drain, and some swear they hear footsteps climbing the lighthouse stairs even when no one is there. In these frozen lands, footsteps don't just fade, they vanish completely. And the truth disappears with them. Across Canada's vast and silent landscapes, some mysteries grow darker the deeper you look. Welcome back to the Vile Echo. In this final chapter, we follow the shadows that stretch across a nation, shadows that whisper of secrets buried in snow, stone, and time. Our story begins with a close-up of strange symbols carved into an old tree trunk deep within the forest. The marks are sharp, deliberate, and far older than the hikers who discovered them. Experts couldn't identify the language, the origin, or the meaning. Some believe it's an ancient warning. Others think it marks the spot where someone disappeared long ago, whatever the truth is. The forest around it feels unnaturally still, as if the trees are keeping a secret. From there we follow the search teams, flashlights slicing through the darkness as RCMP officers move cautiously through thick fog. Their beams skim across branches, deep brush, and patches of untouched snow. Every crack of a twig sends a ripple of unease through the group. These officers have seen enough to know that not all missing cases are accidents. Some trails lead nowhere because something or someone wanted it that way. In the frozen tundra, an abandoned snowmobile sits half buried in ice. No tracks lead away from it, no tracks lead toward it. It's as if it simply appeared out of nowhere. The rider never found, the engine cold as if it had been sitting there for years despite being brand new when the man vanished. Locals still avoid that stretch of tundra, calling it the place where footsteps die. We move next to a rusty metal door hidden in the ground, half open, leading into what looks like an underground bunker. Light spills out of the crack, faint but steady. The air around it feels charged, humming with a low vibration. The bunker isn't on any map, no government claims it, no records mention it, yet deep inside are hallways carved into the rock and rooms filled with equipment that shouldn't exist in such a remote place. Some say it was part of a Cold War experiment. Others believe it was built to contain something, not to protect people, but to protect them from whatever was sealed below. Leaving the bunker behind, we arrive at a small Canadian town. Its main street, usually calm and friendly during the day, becomes eerie after dark. Streetlights flicker, signs sway without wind, windows reflect shadows that don't match any living person. Residents whisper about a figure seen standing alone under the street lamps, never moving, never speaking, always watching. Some believe it's the spirit of someone who disappeared long ago, unable to leave the town that forgot them. High above a frozen lake, a solitary figure stands on a cliff, silhouetted by the moon. Their outline is sharp, but their features are lost in darkness. They stare across the ice as if waiting for someone to return, or maybe waiting for someone to disappear next. The moonlight glows across the frozen surface, revealing faint markings like letters scratched into the ice. Messages no one can decipher before they melt away at dawn. And finally, we return to the table where it all began, an old map of Canada spread across aged wood. Red pins mark each place where our stories unfolded: forests, lakes, islands, mountain roads, and frozen wastelands. Everywhere a pin sits, a mystery remains unsolved. A secret stays hidden, a story waits to be told. Canada's silence is not empty, it is full of echoes waiting for those brave enough to listen.